How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Wolf, and welcome back to Survival Guide episode 13, I believe it is. And we've got a little bit of catching up to do. Not a whole lot, really. But what I did do was I went and did all of the passive quests, which are pretty easy to do. You can just Google online where these are. I don't know if I have it available to me currently, like easily. Give me 1 second to take a quick look here. I can't find it just yet. I had a website that showed like all the leveling quests and stuff. I don't exactly know where it is, and I can't seem to find it currently. So I do apologize for that. But there's a website somewhere. I don't remember what it is. It was written up. I saw it on Reddit, and it shows all of the skill point side quests. So potentially have a look around for that, or just type /passives and go through the game, talk to NPCs and whatnot. After a while, you'll get to know where they all are, and you'll memorize them, and they're all pretty easy to do. I mean, I skipped a couple for the sake of time, but I went and got that sorted. And then I got my third Izaro kill, which was pretty easy to do. Picked up a Rupture for literally the only thing here is moving while bleeding doesn't cause you to take extra damage, which is really useful to stop you dying from a 20 Corrupting Blood one-shot. And then we have gain plus 30 life when you hit a bleeding enemy, as well as the 25% chance to bleed. Allows me to take out the bleed chance on this side, the 30% there, and put it into bleed damage multiplier and get a point back. So it's basically, I lose like, what, 5%, something like that. And then I use my 11 skill points for Thick Skin, going down to Bravery. I'm going to pick up these next 2 points for the next 2 levels. And then I got Dirty Techniques down here. So other than that, that is most of my skill pointed journey. Next 2 points are going to be here and here. And then from there, I think I am probably going to go like up. I don't know that I need Charisma anymore because I'm not using all of the auras on the planet, although I might switch back to using some of those now. But we'll see, we'll see. All in all, character seems to be shaping up pretty decently. I changed the setup in the bow. I'm now using Split Arrow, Chance to Bleed, Deadly Ailments, Brutality, and Vicious Projectiles. So I took out Mirage Archer just to go for more raw damage in that case. And I've done as much sort of optimization and defensive layering as I possibly could. I feel like I should have probably shown that, but I did it like without even thinking about it, and then I went, oh fuck. So I'm gonna go through and explain it instead. So essentially, the problem that I have with Ranger is actually just filling up the slots. So you'll find that a lot of this is just kind of like filled in with extra bullshit. So in the bottom setup here, I have my Stone Golem. I have cast when damage taken, summon Stone Golem for life regeneration. Then I remembered there's another thing you can get here, which is summon Holy Relic. This makes another little minion like a Golem that I don't think actually dies. I'm not entirely sure with that one. But it gives you life regen per second to allies. It does a little Nova when you hit an enemy with an attack, which obviously, you know, we're doing. So extra bit of life regen there as I level it up. And it should alternate between summoning the Golem, summoning the Holy Relic over and over, right? Then I'm using Minion Life just to make Kevin a little bit more tankier because it's something, it fills the slot. Then over here we've got Malevolence, which is the aura that I'm using for more damage over time. And then Blink Arrow and Blood Rage, those doesn't really change. And then up here I have increased duration support on Phase Run, so I can get that little bit of extra movement speed when I need to find new packs. And then in the chest piece, I have cast when damage taken, Steel Skin, increased duration. Now, Steel Skin is one of 3 guard skills that allows you to pop this sort of defensive style skill. So Steel Skin, well, if the animation actually goes off correctly, would make you go like entirely white and give you a buff. which makes it so that it absorbs a certain amount of damage. Now, normally on the builds that I play, this is absolute trash because I play builds with, 5 to 6k health that can leech like in their whole health pool basically instantly. But with a ranger that is currently running, I think, next to no leech, and or getting the healing from ruptures, gain life when you hit a bleeding enemy, Steel Skin is going to be very, very nice. Because I'm going to take a big hit, and then get a triggered roughly, what would it be? About 1,000 HP shield, which, considering I'm only almost on 4k right now, is going to be very nice once that levels up. And it has increased duration, so the shield just lasts longer. The other options are Immortal Call, which scales off of endurance charges to make you physical damage immune. Immortal Call used to be really good, but then they nerfed it because it made you physical damage immune basically 24/7, and it was a bit busted. So as a result, that got changed, and now you can still do the same thing, but you have to consume like 4 or 5 endurance charges. So for our character, it doesn't really do a lot. So instead, I decided to go for Cast When Steel Skin. The other option is Molten Shell, which gives like 1,000 or like 10,000 armor, something like that. So it's either like 10,000 or like 1,000 armor, which is like basically useless because I have literally 0 armor because I'm using evade instead with chance to dodge. So as a result, I went for Steel Skin because armor is pretty shitty. And that's pretty much it in regards to the gem setup. I changed one craft on the ring to cold and lightning res to make sure I capped out my resistances. The fire is still like slightly short by 2%, but we'll be fine so long as I don't roll any weakness maps. And flask-wise, I got bleed remove on the silver flask, I have freeze removal on the quartz, and I have freeze removal here. So I have an open flask slot. I'm probably going to get one of the flasks of my other character for like a damage % flask. What I recommend doing is as soon as possible, get a bleed removal flask. You can craft it yourself through just alteration and augment spamming, or you can go to the menagerie and hard craft it onto a flask. So you roll until you get a prefix you like, and you come to the blood altar, scroll all the way down, and go adds of staunching. This only takes yellow beasts, and you can choose what level they are as well if you go in and like select the beast. So you can go for like level 20 beast if you want to just kill something easily. And then that will add on an of staunching modifier to a flask. So get a prefix you want, whichever one it may be. It depends and changes from patch to fucking patch at this rate. And then add on bleed removal. I generally get it on my Quicksilver, but I have it on my Onslaught flask, which I press more often, or just as often. And that will keep me alive through Corrupted Blood, which is an augment on mobs that stacks up on you the more you hit them. So, yeah, you're going to want that one. You want freeze removal so you don't pop a strongbox, get frozen, and die immediately. I've had that happen many, many times. I normally put it on a granite flask if I'm playing like a tankier character. We're putting it on a quartz flask because we're using dodge and phasing. So this is my tank flask for this sort of character. So we're getting freeze and chill removal on there. The Quicksilver will eventually, if I get lucky enough, become an Adrenaline Quicksilver, which basically gives me double the effect. It'll give me like 80% movement speed, or like 70% if I roll top end. So that's what I'm hoping to go for there. And then my second slot is open for damage flasks, or a second life flask if I end up kind of stuck in that route and need something. So otherwise, I don't really have any other flasks that are of that much use. Like, I'll take up a salt flask to fill it right now, but I'd love to put the Azirius Promise on, but it's as extra chaos, and I'm using Brutality, which gives me no elemental and no chaos damage, so I don't really get the ability to use that flask. And with that being said, that's the gear changes and the skill gem changes. Obviously, I got a decent amount more life now because I got all the skill points, got the Azaro, and that is our kind of update. So, I talked about maps briefly in the previous episode at the end, and essentially what I talked about was how you would start maps. you will be given a map by Zaina, one of 4, that starts you in one of these 4 corners. Now, I would love to reset my atlas and start from 0 and show you everything, but that is not possible. I don't know why, but atlases are like account wide. I really feel like they should be on a per character basis to an extent anyways, or give you multiple atlas pages. Because once you figure out how this thing actually works, the more you think about it, the more you're like, well, why is there not multiple pages to this? So essentially, what you are originally going to be told, or originally think, is to clear every map on the atlas, because this center thing here gives you a higher chance for maps to drop 1 tier higher for every map bonus you've completed. If you mouse over a map, you can see what the bonus is. Generally, it's kill the map boss with it alked. Lower tier maps, you have to have it blue. Yellows, they have to be alked, and then reds, it has to be corrupted and alked. So that's your map bonus. So you'd think is to get this like 100%, if not like higher, and do as many maps as possible to boost this. That is actually a horrible idea. That's how the atlas sounds like it should be done, but it is entirely wrong. Because what you want to do is you pick one corner, and you see how I've done things here, right? You pick one corner, and you stay in that corner. Because completed maps have a higher chance to drop than uncompleted maps of that specific tier. So in my case, to show you just quickly what I mean, Tier 2 Alleyways, the map that I would farm for my Chin Soul card to get my current bow. My distribution of Tier 2 maps is 19 to 0. Because I have only done alleyways. So when it drops at tier 2, it has a very high % chance to drop one that I've already completed, or one that is linked to the map that I'm doing. So as a result, alleyways is the only tier 2 map I've even seen. You see what I mean here, right? Tier 3, Ivory Temple, the map that's linked to it, right? I have 25 to 5 and 1. So maps that are linked together will have a higher chance to like drop, because that's considered the progression map, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6. There's a 6 there, and I literally haven't even dropped that. 7, 7, 8. Where's the other one? 8, and then 9, 10, and 8 there. And 7 there. Realistically, I didn't even need to go this way, but Underground Sea is such a good map that I wanted to like get this map unlocked. So I went and I found that one. Now, the question you're going to probably be asking is, well, how do I figure out what map I want to run? Well, that's where this is going to still be applicable for Conquerors of the Atlas, so I want to make sure I like get this as much as possible, like explain as much as possible. When you're first starting out, I do actually recommend you do a full atlas clear, because reason being is you find out what maps you enjoy clearing. You might not like the same maps I do. I enjoy doing like alleyways, thicket and fields, grottos pretty alright. Let's see what else. I hate Necropolis, but we're out here anyways. Arachnid Nest isn't horrible. It's not great for my current build. I like channel maps. I like Ashen Wood maps. Any maps that are like big and open. Arid Lake is a really good map. Those sorts of things. And that's just what I've found from just playing. I figured out what maps I enjoy. So what they do when a new league comes out, I feel like I'm doing fucking hand motions, like I feel like a Mexican chef. But when a new league comes out, they also give you what the new updated atlas is, and it shows every tier and where it is. So as a result, you can look through that set, and it'll tell you where your favorite maps are. So say in the top right-hand corner, it has alleyways, arid lake, channel, or aqueduct. What else? Ashen wood, and like thicket and grotto for whatever reason, right? Like all the maps that I like in the right-hand corner. Well, I'm going to choose the right-hand corner because those are the maps I enjoy clearing, and then just go from there. Say you wanted to farm something specifically. You wanted to farm a Combs Heart, and that drops from a volcano map. Well, volcano's a tier 8 in the top portion of the map. So either you start at the right or you start at the left, and you work your way towards the volcano map. If you have something specific you want to farm that drops from a certain place, or like has a div card that drops from a certain place, then you go towards that corner. You go towards that map. And there is some later stuff regarding like shaping maps and shaping stuff. I don't really fuck with that personally. That's all disappearing in Conquerors anyway. It's all changing, so I'm not even gonna show it. But it's some whack shit that confuses me even to this day. So I don't really deal with the whole shaping aspect of maps. I just kind of leave it be. Now, when you get to maps, you're going to pick your corner, and you're going to progress through and go through things. Now, you see this weird tentacle hentai bullshit down here, yeah? That is Elder Influence. The starry one is Shaper Influence. Each of those, when you run those maps, have a chance to drop fancy-looking items, like these sorts of ones, yeah? The ones you see all your favorite streamers running and going, oh my god, this is absolutely fucking insane. Have like a starry background or a tentacle hentai background, right? Now, to get these to drop, you need to be running maps that are affected by this. Essentially, what ends up happening is after you clear a tier 6 map that's affected by this shaped thing, so like this overgrown shrine, for example, this tentacle stuff will show up. The Elder will show up on your map. And don't worry, because Shaper, I believe, it has happened 90% of the time for me. Shaper starts in the corner you pick. Right? So for me, it started in Jungle Valley, then went to Alleyways, then Ivory Temple, then Fields, then Thicket. Actually, it went up for me. It went Ivory Temple, Arid Lake, Grotto, and then in Residence was where I killed my Shaper, and then the Elder stuff spawned. And originally Elder spawned over here, so I got to do Elder maps and stuff, and now he's fucked off and he's in the other corner. So this moves gradually. I don't know what the amount is. You might have to actually go and clear it for all I know. Who fucking knows? But the way Elder Influence works is as you clear it, it moves. So if you clear this one, this map will no longer be affected, but all the other ones still will be. So if you clear this one won't be affected anymore. You clear this one, it won't be affected anymore. You clear this one, it won't be affected anymore. If you clear the center, it fucks it entirely. So if you want to get as much value out of these maps as possible to try and get these fancy like weapons and armor and stuff, don't do the center map. Because if you do the center map, it'll cut, depending on how the thing is set up. Say you were to go and do this row of maps right here, right? This one, this one, this one, and this one. All of these maps here would lose their influence. Just gone. So you've just lost 4 maps worth of Elder Influence and potential value to get these fancy items and whatnot, right? So you don't really want to do something like that. Or say, for example, this will work just as well. If you want to get as much out of this as possible, if you clear this map before you clear this map, this one will lose its influence. Because it all has to stay congested as one big blob and connected. So to do this, you literally cut it off. And you lose out on this influence of the map. Basically loses you value. Unless you can't do Elder maps for whatever fucking reason. Maybe the Abyss portals are a massive pain in the ass for your build. Who knows? Oh, coffee's good. So other than that, a couple of tricks that you can employ while farming. At earlier maps, obviously any map you do, you want to get the bonus on, just to make life that little bit easier for you. Any maps that you do early on, up to tier 6, just throw a transmute orb on them, and you'll passively get the map bonus by doing that, because it just needs to be blue. If you want to get as much value as possible, you can alchemy orb them. Because maps have quantity on them. So I'll take a tier 1 for you here. And this is a normal empty tier 1, right? Let me grab a fucking another one. Because I'll run them up and progress for you while we go through things. or transmute, you'll see its item quantity and item rarity goes up, right? And you'll see it rolls a prefix and a suffix. It's the exact same as rolling items, if not stupider, because I think you can get more mods with a rare map. So if I alch this one, you'll see 61, 36, 23. This one's 29, 17, 11, right? So you get more loot, theoretically, from alching a map than from just doing it white or doing it as a blue map. Now, this is going to consume a shit ton of currency if you're alching every single map as you progress. If you're really in dire straits of trying to earn the next tier of maps, then alching it can work as well, because obviously you want to like progress and go forward, right? So when you do a tier 1, you want to drop a tier 2, then you want to drop a tier 3, then you want to drop a tier 4, and like progress, right? But what if you've dropped tier 3s or something, but you just can't drop that fucking tier 4, right? You just can't do it. But you have a surplus of tier 3 maps. Yeah, your fucking supporter packs look like absolute garbage this time around, so fuck off my screen. So, say for example, I'm stuck on tier 1 and my tier 2 is just never dropping, right? So I take 3 tier 1 maps, come over to Zana, or any vendor you can sell to, vendor all 3 of them, and it will upgrade to a different tier 2. Now, in my case, it upgraded to Cage or some fucking shit for some reason. Oh, because this isn't, yeah, because this isn't the Jungle Valley map, because I'm fucking retarded. But, yeah. So, if I turn in 3 Jungle Valleys, and I wanted to say get an Alleyways map, I just go here, turn in 3 Jungle Valleys, and that'll upgrade to an Alleyways. It'll upgrade to 0% quality, by the way, even if you turn in a quality map. So don't turn in quality maps if those drop. Try and use them, like roll them or whatever have you, right? So say you really want to get into a tier 5 map and you can't fucking find it, it won't drop, then you use 3 of the tier 4s and it will upgrade to it. Sometimes when they split, like notice how this goes to Arid Lake and Fields, it'll only give you the one. And if you want to drop the other one to go the other way, well, that one's just on RNG. You have to drop it. You can't do the upgrade strategy for that sort of gimmick. Other than that, that is mostly just how I progress my Atlas. The other thing about progressing the Atlas, very simply, is Delve. Delve is fantastic for Atlas progression, because you get a shit ton of currency the deeper and deeper you go. If you find a deep city, that sounds weird to say, but if you find a city really deep in here, most of the times cities will have subterranean charts as one of their chests, and when you open those, it gives you maps equal to depth level. So if you're extremely deep, lol XD, then you get higher tier maps. So keeping up on your delve as you like progress through maps is actually worthwhile, because when you run out, you go and delve at whatever depth you're at. If you get a city, or even an items room and you get a cartographer, then you just get a ton of maps for whatever tier. There was a league, Synthesis League, where no one had any maps, because the map drop chance off of bosses was fucking borked. So what we ended up having to do, or what I figured out halfway into the league, was Delve was insane for maps, because Delve scales up for loot the deeper down you go. So I took my character to like depth 300, and I'm hitting cartographer boxes and getting like 3, 4, 5 maps between like tier 9 and like 12. And my stream's like, how the fuck? I can't even get past tier 6. Delve is just that good for getting extra maps. And if you're at early tiers, you can do early Delve stuff. Keep in mind that it is randomized. It's not tailored towards your Atlas that I know of in Delve, so you might get stuff in other corners of the map. Okay, so that's the basics of the map. I mean, this whole map's a bit whack, I'll be honest. There's like a lot you can do with it. and some of it I still don't understand, like the shaping strategies I don't really get. You can shape things to allow you to farm things easier. It's disappearing in fucking Atlas, so whatever, doesn't really make a difference to me. Shaper Strongholds. Essentially, these are beefed up maps that will drop a guaranteed shaper item when you kill the boss. These maps are pretty fucking hard. The bosses are, actual work. But other than that, they're kind of a pushover sometimes. Depends on the character you're playing. It depends on the boss you get from the map. Certain map bosses are a massive pain in the ass, like Malachi, and then you get double boss from the map roll. And I've fought double boss Malachi before. It is not fun. So sometimes the other thing I need to tell you about this before we actually get into things is maps are false difficulty in sometimes. Depends on what you roll on the map. Because most maps, as long as I see it doesn't have reflect or beyond, I'm like, oh, sick. Alright, this works. I've had maps that roll +2 projectiles and every projectile monster in the game. I had that happen for a video I was recording. My character hadn't died all day. I had streamed 8 hours for that day. And I go and I sit down and I record the 10-minute video. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go get gameplay in it. And I go and I segue and I'm like, okay, let's go get some gameplay. And I roll this 2 projectile map and I get like 9 porcupines a pack, and I just fall over 5 times, and I'm just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And it was like a tier 6 for showcase. His character was doing like 11 or 12 at this point, so was self-found. And I just fell over, just over and over and over again. Because sometimes map mods at low tier will just clap you. So if you're doing tier 3 and you're having a struggle, maybe you can still do, tier 6, tier 7, etc., etc. Maybe it was just the map mods. Because I've had, like, maps where my character can do tier 12, but I struggle on a tier 6 because it rolled absolutely horribly and or got some dumb shit on it. So don't feel bad if you die in low tiers if you're doing, like, an Alcta map or something. If you're doing a white map and dying, okay, maybe you got some problems there. Maybe. But, I gotta get that out of the way first. Is, like, that's also to cover for the series, because I might die in low tiers to dumb shit. It has happened before, and it's happened on stream, and it will probably keep happening, because that's the nature of, like, map rules and that sort of stuff. Alright, and then this sidebar is masters. So each of these masters do their own separate thing. Einhar has beasts that give you free uniques. Alva runs a 11-room temple that you can tailor and augment to your liking somewhat to kind of choose your loot rewards. Delve is the best thing in Path of Exile, and I wish it was the only thing in Path of Exile, if I'm entirely honest with you. But, that's one man's opinion. I'll show you Delve for this character eventually. I don't know how well it's going to do, but we'll see. June is... was a massive pain in the ass, now is actually pretty okay. She spawns in kind of bosses, like, those unique mobs in the story that you always skip all the time? Yeah, it's like those with weird mechanics, and they drop some interesting stuff and some extra crafting mods and that sort of stuff. All in all, it's interesting, it's okay, it's nothing spectacular. I'll show you it when we get there. And Xena gives you basically free maps. Now, the maps will count towards your Atlas, though, so don't, finish maps you don't want on your Atlas. I'll showcase that when we get Xena, or when I go and deal with all that sort of stuff, too. So, alright, it's been a half hour of me fucking talking. Let's do some maps, shall we? So we'll start off with just a simple tier 1 here. This one's already out, so why not? We'll just ID it. And that should be fine. Elemental equilibrium's fine. And the things we want to watch out for is going to be reflect. So in my case, my skills don't do any elemental damage. So if I get elemental reflect, I'm fine. I can do the map. I don't have an issue. But if I get physical reflect, I will immediately kill myself. So that's not even a meme. I will literally hit something and die. So you want to look out for maps you roll that say physical reflect, and also monsters from Beyond. That's a personal one, but I fucking despise Beyond maps. So I wouldn't recommend doing them if you're new to the game. You'll be like, why is shit just spawning everywhere? Why is this thing flame blasting half my screen? And then you just die. So if you see Beyond, I would re-roll it, throw the map away. You can use a Chaos Orb to re-roll rare maps, or if you're using a blue map, you can use an Alteration Orb. We're going to plop this fella in the map device, hit activate, and you get 6 portals to go into the map, because it's a party size of 6. So in a solo player's perspective, that means I can fuck up 6 times. But in, party perspective, it's a portal for everyone, and if you die, you're pretty much out. So we're going to utilize our clear speed build to do exactly what it was designed for, hopefully. Bleed everything, keep running, grab our map there. Because of Chin Soul, if I get close, it will do pretty significant damage. And I'm going to make sure I'm constantly on the move, right? Because remember how we're playing a bleed build. So if anything's running towards me, right, then it's taking bonus damage. So long as I'm on the move and enemies are aggroed, they're moving. Which means they're bleeding, they're taking the bleed modifier while I'm, on the run. One thing I recommend doing is getting a loot filter you're comfortable with. I have now made my own, and I will be tweaking it more and more. I'll eventually do a video on the loot filter itself, once I've got it to a point that I'm actually comfortable with showing to people and giving to people. At the moment, I still have some stuff to tweak because certain things drop or show too often when I don't need them. So I'll be tweaking and adapting and changing things as we go. Well, trash unique. Okay, sure. And we just we want to progress as much as possible, and you want to actually look through basically all areas of a map, because keep in mind, now we're not in acts, right? We don't want to skip everything. We want to actually seek out the hidden corners. Now, you don't have to in certain maps, right? But the reason I say that is because we've spent currency, right? In most cases, obviously this one came pre-rolled. In most cases, we've alked a map. Maybe we've chiseled it to get quality on it because we want some extra loot and whatnot, right? So in that case, we have literally spent our own hard-earned currency on a map. So why not fully clear it? You want to make sure you fully clear the map to be able to get as much back as possible. Grab that Quicksilver. And like I said, that Volax is the wrong color on my filter, so I gotta change that eventually. But since we alked the map, we put our alk into it, so we want to at least get that much back and or clear everything to try and make as much currency as possible. If you put 4 chisels and an alk into a map and you don't make that back, well, that's a net loss, right? And we want to try and avoid that as much as possible. I level 70 Quicksilver. I'm going to keep that on hand because it should be higher chance to roll Adrenaline. So I'll keep that right there. And we want to make sure we're picking up currency, and that's tier 1 done. Now, it didn't drop in alleyways, which kind of sucks, but say, for example, it did. I'm just going to progress through my map tiers as we go, and I don't know how I'm going to really go about this, but I don't know, I'll just show off maps, do a couple episodes of mapping probably, maybe make some gear upgrades and that sort of thing. I made some pretty decent gear right now, and I think I can probably farm up to tier 10 reliably right now, pretty sure. Which is more than enough to find a favorite map and just target farm it. So let's do some alleyways. The map that will drop our Chin Soul card. So say we wanted to actually farm Chin Soul. We want to get as much quantity and item rarity as possible, which would mean we would want to alk these or chisel them. Chiseling something increases its quality. Quality equals item quantity. So 20% quality on a map is 20% item quantity. So I've hit maps that are 129% quantity. It's pretty wild. Combine that with, the fact I'm using rarity and rarity gear, and you can kind of assume where that goes. It's pretty wild. That's why you get a loot filter. Do I showcase how to download loot filters? I've got multiple videos on that. It's pretty easy to figure out. NeverSync is a pretty decent loot filter if you want to just use something like that. That's what everyone uses generally, unless you go through the hassle of making your own. So that's a Beyond map, so I'm just going to literally throw that in there and get a different one, because fuck that. Beyond is a massive pain in my ass. Essentially, when you kill an enemy, it has like a 13% chance to spawn another enemy just underneath it. And that has a chance to be a boss, and Beyond bosses are stupid fucking OP. One will flame blast like this much of the area in about a half second and just delete you. So I'd rather just not deal with that personally. So we're gonna throw in an alleyways into here, and actually let's do a master with it, shall we? Let's go get what do we have? Let's do an Einhar. So these masters, you get masters every day, one of each mission per day per master, provided you have the Atlas unlocked. So I get one for, I think it's for your highest tier. So I'm accruing like yellow missions right now, right? So essentially what you can use these for is just hard spawning a master. So say I wanted to do Nico, or say I wanted to do Einhar, and I wanted to just grind it out and get as much as possible, because Einhar, this is technically 13 uniques. A possibility of getting 13 free uniques, which in solo self-found is insane value, right? Absolutely fucking insane value for trying to farm for something you want. Now, obviously, you can't control what uniques you get, but 13 chances at what you want is better than none, right? So, we're gonna want to do Einhar missions. So to do that, we're gonna need to make sure that we have a mission corresponding to the tier we want to do. So we're doing white tier maps right now, which is tier 1 to 6. So we need to make sure we have a white mission. We have 4 available, right? So talk to Einhar, click Atlas mission, put in our map, click activate, and this will go down to 3 after we spawn the portals like so. So now in this map, there will be an Einhar encounter with his beast. We kill the red beast, and we get a unique from it once we go to the menagerie and kill it a second time. So, for example, I'll just talk about what I did on my Bladestorm character. Was I had 20 Einhars stocked up, so I ran the same map. 5-link, lol. Sure, I'll pick it up just to not piss people off. I ran the same map. I don't remember what map it was. I think it was like Arid Lake or Fields. And I ran it like 20 times, all modified by Einhar. And got, I think it was like 15 uniques, because I died on like 2 of them because their mods were stupid as shit. And I wasn't paying attention because I was reading chat. So, as a result, we got basically free uniques. So now I've got the red beast, and since, of course, we're playing a bleed build, I can just bleed it and run it along with me. And so long as it's moving and stays moving, which is rather easy for it to do, provided it doesn't aggro on my golem or anything like that. If I can keep it occupied. Come on, we were doing so well when you were following me. There we go. We just kind of drag it along with us. Come on. Are you actually hitting my golem? Oh no, never mind. Einhar bagged him. There we go. So now we can go back to the menagerie and go and fight that fellow and get a free legendary for him, provided we can kill him a second time. So if you have trouble killing the beast the first time, maybe get stronger and fight it again, like when you're more powerful. So I would go and say I wanted to kill that thing, but I didn't have enough damage to kill it the first time. I'd go and get more bow nodes, get better weaponry, or something like that, or optimize my setup that little bit more before going and taking him on again to make sure I could kill him myself. I don't want cast 1 damage taken over like level 5, but until then I can level everything. And that's the basics of Einhar, essentially. I think I showed him off earlier in the series, but he's pretty simple. Basically free uniques for anyone playing SSF, I'll be honest. So I use and abuse that as much as humanly possible. Sometimes you'll get an aspirant's trial or a labyrinth trial. Please don't be the last one I need. I don't really feel like doing it right now. Okay, no. And you need to get 6 of them. I have 5 out of 6 because of course I fucking do. And once you get all 6, you can do Uber Labyrinth. That's what it's called anyways. It's a level 85 labyrinth that offers the best helm enchants possible, as well as the best loot out of the labyrinth. And you can actually make pretty decent currency and or like results just farming labyrinth on your own. Because the chests drop currency, the boss drops currency. You get like 4 or 5 chest keys at the end most runs. And you can get more if you know the pathing for that specific day. As well as you can optimize the clear and get the clear that much faster. And since remember what I said beforehand about the labyrinth doesn't change until the next day, then what you can do is you just memorize the path, and if it's a good path, you just get it down and farm the absolute shit out of it. Now, we will have some problems with bosses that don't move, obviously. This is where something like Crimson Dance would be really useful for this sort of like build and or character. But I'm just going to pull him back, and provided I do that, or I stuff him with a giant point blank shot, and then keep him hopefully running. There we go. And there's fields. So that's the tier 4 map. So now I would have just gone up a couple tiers, right? So that's basically how you go about progressing your atlas. You go, 1 until you drop 2, then 2 until you drop 3, and then 3 until you drop 4, so on and so forth. And if you can't drop the map you're looking for, I do an upgrade thing where I get 3 of like the tier 2 and then I sell it and upgrade it. If you want extra maps, Zayna sometimes sells them. However, I don't think Zayna sells any maps you've completed, so do be warned of that. The other thing is that after you complete a map that one of the Zayna quests, you'll get offered another map on the same tier. So I would recommend taking the map you've already done, just again, so you have another chance at getting the next tier. I don't recommend taking any of the other ones, personally. I just take the same map you've just gotten, and just run it over and over and over again, until you get your desired result of, I don't know, card, or next map, or whatever the fuck have you. You know what I mean? So, I mean, weirdly enough, that's like genuinely most of maps covered. It's really not that hard. It's more like when you dive into the shaping sort of stuff, where it starts to get really stupid and really fucking whack and out there. But I don't really mess around with that too much personally. So I guess we can have a kind of small chat about Conquerors of the Atlas and what would really go on there. To my knowledge, they're changing the whole thing. They're changing influence, so there won't be like Shaper Elder maps anymore. And you also apparently start at the center of the Atlas. What does that mean for everything that I previously told you? Well, it means the Elder information and Shaper information is basically irrelevant. That's fine. But how to progress the Atlas, I'm pretty sure, funnily enough, will stay the exact same. Of picking a corner and going about running it down that corner. I'm pretty sure that will genuinely be the same. There might be different, like, it might lean more towards actually fully completing things. Considering, say you wanted to get all the bosses, they might be in separate corners. We don't know everything just yet. So if they're in separate corners and you want to go kill the bosses, it'll probably work that way. Because of the way the eyes work, or the watchstones, I think it's called, work, you can pull them out and slot them in at any point, so you can like switch things around for how you want to go about the mapping scenario and what maps you want to level up and all that sort of shit. So I'm pretty sure that, I'm trying to like get point blank without actually getting clapped here. So I'm pretty sure that the Watchstones sort of thing is going to be pretty much fine with you clearing most of the map. But to start, I am still going to do my same strategy of just starting in whatever corner leads me to the maps I like the most. Because it's worked, and it should still work then as well. Because provided this system is the exact same and this math doesn't all change, this will still work. Just instead of going inwards, we're going outwards instead, doing the exact same style of progression. Which will work pretty much the same, to my knowledge. Obviously, if the bosses are in the corners, maybe it lends itself more towards fully completing things. We'll see when we kind of get into Endgame and all that sort of stuff. Like, I'll do... Path of Exile has been open for the past 4 hours. Are we really gonna, like, decide to lag now? Okay, sure. I'll do videos on, like, the new Atlas and all this sort of stuff, and expect a 3-point, or expect a Season 3 in regards to survival guides stuff. I don't really know how that's gonna go. I don't know if I'm gonna wait until PoE 4.0. That'll be a fucking millennia away. So, I doubt it. We'll see. But I will probably do a 3.0 series, because clearing, like, Endgame and stuff like this is kind of a little weird in regards to a series like this. Like, basically, I would just do this exact same thing and just continue on until I've hit a wall and or done whatever I wanted to. Because, like, I wanted to farm a Chin Soul. I'm on the Chin Soul map right now. So I would literally just hard farm this map as much as possible until the cards dropped. I would alch them all, chisel as many of them as I could, maybe spread the chisels out and get 5% across like 10 maps instead of 20% on one. And just literally buckle in, put some music on, put a podcast on or something, and just like hard farm until I got the cards. Then I would get the weapon. Then I would try and link it. And that'd be... The fuck was that noise? I'm not entirely sure. Oh, that. Then I would try and see if I could 5-link it. If I could, I could. If I couldn't, well, I couldn't. And then I would just kind of progress my way through. The way I go about linking things in solo self-found, or trying to get like 5 links and whatnot, is I generally use the prophecy. That's why I save the silver coins. Is I use all of my silver coins to try and roll for the 5-link prophecy, and then put the 5-link prophecy onto my chest piece, because that's normally a very well-rolled piece with a singular life fossil, and that lets me interchange my weapons. Legion Monolith. Alrighty. I don't know how well this character's gonna do in this, but we'll see. This is gonna spawn a shitload of enemies that stand still. The more enemies you kill, the more enemies will spawn into the real world, and you'll get XP from them. Obviously, they're not moving, which means they're not taking bonus bleed damage, so we'll see how this fucking goes. I almost don't want to kill, like, too much, because I might get clapped if I do so. So, like, we'll see here. Alright, not bad. I missed the fucking chest in the back corner, though. You're gonna want to try and kill anything that has a chest modifier over it, or any, like, marker over top of it, because it drops fancy stuff. So I got 2, what was it, jewelry ones, it looks like? Yeah. I don't know. Pick up the splinters, because you can use the splinters eventually to kill bosses that I believe give you like a 5-slot map device or some shit. I actually never got to that, because I didn't play much in Legion. Which makes me actually sad, because it was the league where they made melee overpowered as fuck. Overpowered as absolute fuck. You know, the one league that you think would be my league that I just decided not to play. Yeah. I'm not the smartest of fellas, I know. But still. I'll update you more on that one when I actually try and get 100 out of 100 on my Pathfinder next league. I have a lot of plans for next league, and I don't know if any of them are going to happen, but we'll see. We'll see. Garbage unique, 5-link, and another garbage unique. So just vendor all that. And let's hit some prophecies. Let's see what we can manage. You'll discover an ascendancy trial. Discover an area with a large pack of sea witches. Possessed. Golem in a Vol side area. And a progression one. I've never done the prophecy chains. I'm gonna do them in next league because apparently they're useful and they unlock stuff. But I've never done them personally, so I just kind of slot them and then just let them go as I map. Sometimes I have to go out of the way to like clear a couple of them, but other than that, no real issue normally. So I dropped another 2 alleyways and an ivory temple. So like, as I said, if I wanted the hard farm alleyways, I would just sit there and just farm out. So let's do a tier 3. Let's like progress up to where my current character is and just kind of see how we go. Do I have a rare one? Yes, I do. So from here on out, if I have rares, I might as well do them. 2 bosses. Oh god, this map. 2 boss. Oh fuck, I've done that. No. Definitely a yikes for me. Players have less recovery, rate of life, and energy shield. That should be okay. 2 bosses on Ivory Temple. I made that mistake the first time with my Bladestorm character. Might be doable since I'm playing a ranged character, but that was one of the ones that I was talking about of, there's no way I'm dying in a tier 3. It spawns infinite mobs. The boss spawns infinite mobs. A second boss will spawn more infinite mobs. And I think it had Beyond. So, killing the infinite mobs, the chance to spawn Beyond mobs. Yeah. When you're playing a melee character with 3k health because you're not geared correctly at the start of the league, yeah, that's a yikes from me, dog. So that was a fun scenario. So if you ever do Ivory Temple at any point, don't do a double boss or Beyond, in my opinion, because that is a no bueno from your boy. I really don't know where I'm gonna end the series off, though. Like, I really don't. Maybe I'll just try and, like, progress up to, like, tier 11 or something. But then, like, in theory, I could be done in, like, 2 or 3 episodes. But, I don't know. I showed gear crafting. Basically, you do the same thing with higher eye level bases. Showed Einhar for uniques. I'll show some Delve and some Delve gameplay of the character. And this is basically what you do for the next, I don't know, 100,000 hours. You think I'm fucking joking. You do this until you get bored of the character, you can't find upgrades, then you make a different character and do her all again. Kind of sad when you think about it, but in the end, that's basically it. You map, then you delve as far as possible, and you make a new character, and round 2. And or you quit till next league, and then come back next league and do it again when you're not burned out. Welcome to Path of Exile. I mean, most of Endgame is just, have you figured out how to craft items yet? Yes or no? If yes, proceed to make dumb shit. If no, proceed to learn step 1, then see step 2. And obviously mapping is a little weird, but, you know, I talked about how I deal with that and my progression systems. If there's anything that I've done wrong in that sort of thing from any sort of like advanced player, let me know. Obviously, it's probably not going to make a difference once the new Conquerors of the Atlas rolls around. It probably won't matter. It might still make a difference, but I mean, obviously, we'll have to wait and see. So we can't really tell in regards to that, but yeah. So yeah, now we've reached the point where we test builds. I shouldn't have leveled that. Oh, actually, no, I should have. We've reached the point where it's like, okay, does my meme bleed build work? If yes, push it as far as possible. If no, roll a new character. So far, it seems fine. Lingering Pain, have I done that one? Of course. Oh, fucking course I get my 6th trial while I'm recording. Of course I do. Of course I do. Why fucking wouldn't I? What's worse is I don't even know if I'm gonna do my last Azaro, because this character definitely can't do it right now. Because it's level 85 entry. I'm just like 71. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm gonna fucking do it because I'm here, but still, that's just fucking funny to me. Alright, let's see which one this is. Ow. 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 Reset my flasks if I can. Woo! That's a spicy meatball. That's a lot of damage. Please don't kill me. I gotta go there. Ow. The wonders of playing a fast character is I can just like skip all the annoying shit and or things that could kill me. Grab the card. Ow. Hit our lever. Pop here. Okay. Should have tagged all the extra stuff. Just try and sit here, do my best to not fucking die. And there we go. Just made actual progression for my whole league in the while recording survival guide. Sure. Don't mind if I do, I suppose. So it's gonna be real interesting when I get my final Berserker point on my Bladestorm Berserker now. I don't even know where I put the last point on this build. Welcome to the boss that spawns infinite enemies. That actually runs around pretty often. So it's not that bad for like a bleed character. But when I was playing a melee bleed character, you can kind of fucking assume. You also see the little holy relic doing his best to shoot off little novas every time I attack. Dude tries his best. You can stop summoning things anytime now, pal. This is what I mean, is character's not really designed for bossing, but it can clear trash real easy. Since this boss doesn't like moving. There's Arid Lake. There's a tier 4. Alright. Portal out of here. And I think I'm going to call it there for this episode. I'm not entirely sure where else I'm going to go. I may go about making like better gear for the character and like crafting and that sort of stuff. Maybe do some delve sort of stuff and maybe just see how high I can push things. I'll probably put on my Elder chest piece in the next episode. Let's see. Let's have a look at it. Where is this fella? This one right here. This thing will basically make me fucking invincible. Because recover 5% of life on kill is wild. So I think I'm just going to throw this on. You can drop this from Shaper. Nope, Elder. So this tentacle influence that is disappearing, you'll see it disappears and then it'll move. Right, because it's being taken over by Shaper. And once Shaper takes all this over, the Elder influence will move to a different corner. It could plant itself in the middle of all my shit, possibly. It could plant itself in a different corner of the map. So, like, say, for example, I progress to the Shaper Stronghold, I could drop something like this. And so long as I have the chest piece base, a chest piece base, and an Elder chest piece has the chance to roll % life on kill or % ES on kill. So as a result, all I would need to do is just spam roll it over and over and over again to get a roll like this, and or use a delve life fossil, which I don't think I have. No, but I do have like lightning, minion, that sort of stuff. So all you would do for that is go and farm or type in where to get a life fossil in delve. Delve a life fossil, and we click fossils, And this is brighter than my fucking future. Holy shit. And we scroll down and we read through our fossil mods right here, right? So we have no life. No, that's not what we want. We can also just go Control F. Life. No life mods. Down. More life modifiers. Pristine fossil. So we click pristine. And it'll tell you where to find it. Magma fissure or frozen hollow. Sometimes sold by Nico for 1,000 azurite. So this will give you more life modifiers. And generally, I only roll it in ones. Just use one fossil to like roll it, then one fossil, re-roll it, one fossil, re-roll it. And you'll get rolls like my current chess piece that I'm looking at right here. I haven't had the ability to put this on my Bladestorm character, so I'm going to put this on this fucking character, because this is kind of funny. Funnily enough, though, I can't just yet because of my resistance situation, so I am going to need to make, like, better gloves and or a better belt. So I'm going to probably need to actually craft some gear, so I may do that in the coming episodes. We shall see, because there's realistically only like 2 to 3 more episodes of Endgame Survival Guide now, which is kind of weird. It really is, because I don't know what I could really do or like how to prolong the series or that sort of stuff, because I showed off Endgame, I showed off how to farm my bow. I just, got lucky, and I probably would have cut out all that time of farming anyways, because it would have just been 6 hours of me running the same fucking map. That's just how it goes for action RPGs, right? And yeah, I guess we just progress through Delve, progress through Delve. Yeah, it's basically all she wrote. Path of Exile is really kind of boring at Endgame if you don't have a stream to talk to, isn't it? Yeah, I kind of guess so, eh? Alright, fellas, thanks for listening, and I shall see you in the next one. Take care.